The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, we're gonna start now. Thank you for waiting and sorry for starting a little bit late. We were just waiting for everybody to join us. So we're gonna start our webinar about the ISWA's campaign on closing the dumps and on the flagship of ISWA Young Professionals Group flagship project to support the ISWA campaign. We're gonna have two main speakers, James Lowe and Aditi Ramola. And I also would like to stress that we have this webinar, and this is the first one in cooperation.
Hi, can you hear me?
ISWM. Yeah, Aditi, we can hear you. We have already started.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, no, don't worry. So, I just wanted to warn everybody from the beginning, you are all muted, just to have the better quality of the sound. But when you have questions or you have some problems or something else, you all have the box which is called questions, where you can just put your notes, or like if you have so many questions, you can just write it down there, and in the end, in the discussion round, I will read them. You can also put the question and your name, so we can refer to the person who asked the question. Also, I want to say that our working group of young professionals who are organizing the webinars were also open for new ideas. So just in case you want to make a presentation, or you have any other idea on the format, just feel free to write to the email to the YPG at iswa.org. So, and now I would like to say again many thanks to Katie, who helped us with the organization of this, with the organizing of this webinar. And also, Katie, could you say some words about CIWM? It will be nice.
Hi everybody, yes, pleasure to be hosting this webinar this afternoon, well this afternoon in the UK anyway. So a little bit about CIWM for you all, is that we were founded in 1898 and we had our Royal Charter granted to us in 2002. So we are the leading professional body for resource and waste professionals in the UK and Ireland, and we do have members overseas as well. As a charity, our charitable aims are to advance for the public benefit the art and science of waste management worldwide, and to further maintain good standards of practice, competence and conduct by all of our members. So we support our members to be successful in their roles by providing technical and career advice, as well as lots of information, networking and development opportunities, networking just such as this webinar today that we're supporting you with. We do set the professional standards for the sector, and we provide impartial, influential and a respected voice in relation to policy discussions. So we are currently working on some bits and pieces with regard to some consultations that were released earlier on this year in the UK. And hopefully our relationship with ISWA will continue and we can carry on to host these types of webinars for you in the future. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Katie. And now we will start with the first presentation of James. James, apart from his main job, he is also the chair of the working group on landfill. And so, James, you can start, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nina. Good morning and good afternoon, good evening, everybody. This is a really exciting webinar that I was looking forward for when I was in Argentina last week. So here we are, and appreciate everybody participate in this important and very ambitious flagship of ISWA. And let's begin with going over the three main things I would like to present here. And I'll give you a little overview of the history of the ISWA Closing Dumpsite Initiative and what we have been done so far and what is coming down the pipe in the next few years. I'd like to state that our mission and visions of the working group on landfill, as well as the task force on closing dump sites. And our mission, of course, is to promote professional and sustainable waste management system worldwide. And our vision is to close all dump sites as much as we can, and to promote the sanitary landfill or other practical, affordable, and sustainable waste management system worldwide. Now, let's present this from what I understand of this so far. In 2014, ISWA and D-Waste mapped the world 50 biggest dump sites. And now this 50 dump site essentially is the people who respond to our call of informations. And I'm sure there are many other big landfill out there, probably at least over 300 or more. And then 2015, ISWA released the Waste Health Report, as well as the Global Waste Management Outlook report. And the first one is, it was dedicated to health impacts caused by the dump sites. And the second one is to focus on how developing countries can advance their systems and close their dump sites. Then 2016, we released the world map for closing the world's biggest dump sites. And 2018, the task force for closing dump site was formed in July and officially began campaign. And in last year, in the World Congress in Kuala Lumpur, we have a keynote section to promote the task force activities. Now, in 2019, we will be kicking off a new candidate site, which is funded by CCAC, and it is going to be started fairly soon. And as well as 2019 YPG campaign on closing dump site, we care. I love the idea very much, and thank you. As a result, this is the first webinar that we are doing, and I appreciate everybody's enthusiasm on this particular topic. Now, as we all know, dump sites, I label it as a very dangerous place. That's what I should add the word very. If you look at the list here for the last 15, 20 years, look at all this dump site that fails and killed. I counted probably about 600, 700 people. And this is all very dramatic events, and people lost lives, and could have been avoided. But anyway, this is where the challenge is, and I'd just like to share the list to all the attendees. Now, our task force, we aim to start this. It's a global movement, and it is important for all of us here, and most of us are working as a volunteer basis, and but we excuse me. The most important part is that we have to persuade some stakeholders and the decision maker to increase their investment in waste management, especially in the low and middle incomes economies. And the task force, obviously, we can provide guidance, whether it's technical or knowledge based, on how to close the dump site. Now, long terms, we like to develop an emblematic pilot project to close dump sites, and we need to set up the partnership with the NGOs governments and the municipals, because without their participation, we are not going to be successful, especially if it is not in our own locations. Now, long-term wise, we also will accumulate extensive frequent asked questions, as well as to set up a knowledge base for other people to go in and share. And we can talk about a little bit more about this later. And of course, fundraising is very important for this kind of movement. And we really have to pull in all the influential people to help us on this. As I said earlier, the task force was established in July 2018, and we are currently holding regular planning meetings, which is every second Tuesday of the month at 3 p.m. Central European Time. And for those who would like to participate, you can contact the ISWA GS, Jennifer or Aditi, for more information. We are having a core group of people, so we try to limit numbers of people participate so that we can get our planning meeting call more effective in a very short time. And now we are collecting specific case studies, especially focus on the cities that is very big dump site and uncontrollable manners, and in places like South America's and Asia's and Africa's locations. We know that they are all listed within the 50 largest dump sites list. So hopefully you can develop some good case studies to help people to understand how people can close the dump sites, as well as try to do a lesson learned in their own locations. Now, long-term sustainability, we are thinking about some of the potential alternatives can be considered as part of the integrated waste management systems. So we're not just saying that you just do landfill, but I think you have to do multiples of other options as part of the overall waste management systems. Now, in terms of task force activities, let me just briefly summarize what have been planned for the next 3 years. And first, we have the scoping study of past success case study. And second, we'll be doing a new site assessment with the interim report and the final report, and with a replicable models that other people can copy from it. And third, capacity building and dissemination of materials to promote and communicate details of the project sites. So this is a very important task that we included here. And fourth is help desk, and donation option will be set up at our website at closingdumpsites.iswa.org. And fundraising goal for the next 3 years, we plan to raise about $2 million through donation and sponsorship. As I said earlier, funding is very important, so that whenever we receive requests from other countries who wants to ask for help from ISWA, then we are able to help them by sending experts to their countries if we have the money to do that. And last year we have done the first activities, and we did 3 success stories on dump site closing case study. The first one is Brazil, and second Austria, and both were presented at the World Congress in Kuala Lumpur, and Israel is the third site. Now, all these 3 reports will be posted at our website. I was told that within a month's time that you can go there and read the reports. And we also did a promotional videos by SWANA. SWANA is a solid waste Association of North America, and as a way to advertise sponsorship and fundraising in their monthly letter back in December. So let me show you the video just to illustrate a message.
James,
Yeah.
you know what? I can hear. I can't hear the sound of the video.
Yeah.
I can see the video. So maybe just it has sound, right?
Yeah, it has sound.
I don't hear it. I think
You
it's
don't
maybe
hear it?
no. I think it's the problem of the webinar of the software. It doesn't.
Okay.
Click further.
But you can hear it, right?
I can't hear the sound of the video, but I can see what you can share the link with me, or just leave it in the presentation.
Yeah.
And people, they can like you know,
Okay.
have a look later.
Okay.
You know what? I think we can stop at the video, and people
Okay.
will have a look later. Yeah, because we can't hear what
Okay.
what Biderman was saying.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I will send the link out when Aditi is presenting it. Okay. Then the second activities, there are a few others, four activities that we're going to do in the next 2 years, and the second and third actually deal with the CCAC. We partner with CCAC, and they are providing a US $100,000 to close as city members' dump sites. But the task here is to focus on gas emission quantification using suite program. I'd like here to congratulate Aditi and FAR for their tireless effort to secure these external fundings. And then there is a training and capacity building elements in it. And so there will be some opportunity for people who have expertise to assist us in this exercise. And there will be two separate reports going to be presented at the World Congress, one in Bilbao, and the final report will be presented in Rotterdam. Now, these are the project timelines for the CCAC project. As you see that we will be studying fairly soon with this exercise, and of course we had to pick a candidate sites first, and then hopefully in the next couple of years, we will have a good reporting to share with you guys. In terms of outlook for closing dump sites, now our main goal here is to raise awareness around the issue of indiscriminated waste dumping, and as you know, some locations they burn their waste, and the impacts to the human health and the environment. And this also include, there is a link to the marine litters if the dump site is near the water bodies. And then in terms of our deliverables, there will be site selection assessments, the gas emission quantifications, and as I said earlier, there's capacity building and training workshops, and finally the communication and dissemination of results. And this, as time goes, all this information will be posted on at our website. See below there. And the task force is ongoing activities and deliverables present plenty of volunteering opportunity for the YPG members. So please, I welcome and any volunteers that would like to participate. And I think this is the end of my presentation, and hope you know, you have question to ask, that we can do it later on. Thank you so much. Nina?
Thank you so much, James. Thanks. Okay, now I will we'll start with Aditi's presentation.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you perfectly.
Is this better?
Yeah, it's much better.
Is the quality better? Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
I can, yes.
Okay.
Thanks. So just leave it at this screen and I'll tell you when to go next. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. My name is Aditi Ramola, and I work at the ISWA General Secretariat based in Vienna, Austria for the coming year. I don't know if you know, but we will be moving our secretariat to Netherlands starting 2020 January. So I'm here in Vienna till then. So briefly, I don't know who the audience is. I'm assuming it's a lot of YPG members, but if there's even one external person joining in, I would like to just very briefly introduce the Young Professionals Group, and then also the Flagship project for 2019, and talk about how you can join and contribute to the activities of the project, and what resources and channels are available for you to take the message of the project further. So the YPG is an international group of members from all over the globe, and we have established local and regional chapters as well. Our broad mission is very similar to the mission of the ISWA International, which is to make sustainable waste management practices well known and to spread awareness on these issues. And our mission within the YPG is to make global connections and share knowledge, share best practice, and also show people what it means to have improved waste management and resource management practices. How we achieve this is through building local networks, also sharing best practices, as I said, and also organizing events and career development workshops around the globe, especially on the margins of bigger conferences or exhibitions. Currently, we are over 100 members from 41 countries with a completely different range of backgrounds and experiences. Of course, we are united by a common passion to improve waste and resource management across the globe. So as you know, we've been established now for 6 years. We were launched in 2013, and we've been expanding our activities over the last 6 years through our working groups and through the activities of the working groups. And for the last 3 years, we've been conducting something called the Flagship project on cross-cutting themes that unite the work of all the working groups and all the young professionals that they can all contribute to. Our strength basically lies in our diversity and also our outreach capacity. So we've, at least for the last 3 years, we've been focusing on global campaigns. And this year now we're trying to also do something on the ground. So Nina, if you could just go to the next slide. Yeah. So just to give you a background, we had 2 flagship projects in the past, one in 2017, one in 2018. The first one was looking at global waste management problems around the world. It was a survey undertaken, and we mapped the results that we got, and then we actually presented it at the World Congress. Then that campaign we took a little further last year in 2018, and we launched something called What Happens to My Waste campaign, where we were making people ask the question beyond just their trash cans, to ask exactly what happens to their different waste streams, and to see the technologies, to see the kind of things that are in practice in their local situations. So it was a global campaign. We had hundreds of participants from around the world asking this question for different kinds of waste streams, and then experts answering it. It was mostly a communications platform-led campaign. So we launched a campaign at the ISWA World Congress in Kuala Lumpur. So this year, we are working on the campaign. So what we try to do with our campaigns is also to link with what ISWA International is doing. So this year we are focusing on closing dump sites. You just heard James's presentation, and so we are also looking at we have a focus on long-term sustainability of basically potential alternatives to open dumping, and as a part of an integrated waste management system. So we know that open dump sites pose separate and different risks, of course, to public health, to environment, to the environment, and also to the people living and working on those dump sites. And what we noticed is, apart from the lack of awareness, these dump sites need technical assistance to be closed. And so through the 2019 project, we are aiming to bring awareness at different levels, so get engagement, get different kinds of stakeholders involved. And then, can you go to the next slide, please? And then to take it to a particular site. And the aim of the project is to follow these principles of what a flagship project should be for the YPG. So it should be aimed at improving waste and resource management through campaign, which it is, a research project or other, and which has global reach and impact, which again this project does, with clear deliverables and timelines. And it is achievable within a certain time frame, because we, as I said, every year we have a new flagship project, and this year we have 10 months to achieve it, because we have from the starting of January to when the Congress takes place, where we actually announce our. And it's something that all the working groups can get involved in, and all YPG members can get involved in. And it also links to a broader ISWA project, which James just explained. This is the Closing Dump Sites project. So if you go to the next slide, the goal, as I said, is to raise awareness and to show the relevance of closing an open dump. And it obviously has to be tailored to a very specific context, because though there is, of course, commonality between different dump sites, but each dump site is, of course, very specific to the local situation. And so we would, so this was the debate in the group, whether to go very local or to keep it at a global level. So we are sort of doing both in some ways. So the global working groups and all the YPGs will focus on looking at linkages between environmental issues and open dump sites throughout the globe. And then through our fundraising campaign, we will try to focus on one, to do a case study, and then pass it on for technical assistance to ISWA later. If you go to the next slide, the target audience of our campaign or our project is, of course, the general public. This is where awareness raising will be done. Then, of course, the experts from waste and resource management sector, political decision makers and local municipalities from around the globe, and then universities and schools. So taking these messages across the board. If you go to the next slide, we plan to do this via a fundraising platform. So this for the second part of our campaign, which is focusing on a specific dump site, which is it's called the Indiegogo platform, and it's sort of an interactive platform where you can put out stories and little videos and such, but you can also be donating money to the cause. So this is one of the platforms that we will use for our dissemination work. And the other thing that we are working with our working group on research is through an online conference on the topic and a blog writing competition. So if you go to the next page, this is just a brief summary about what an Indiegogo page looks like. And the timelines for us are May to end of June, and our aim is to raise about $10,000 US for a specific site, and that would probably be more for a site study, a case study, and of course a few dissemination campaigns. If you go to the next slide, actually you can skip the 8th. We go to the 9th slide. This is about the online conference, where the topic is going to be the ultimate journey from dump site to a circular economy, best practices and innovative solutions for low and middle income economies or countries. This is going to be launched in the next, the information is going to be launched in the next few weeks, and you're most welcome to please present your like a small abstract and present any solutions you might have. And this is open to all YPG members from academia and industry. The topics can be, the title is quite specific, but it's broadly open to topics such as circular economy, dump site closure and rehabilitation, waste management best practices, and innovation in waste management. 10 of the abstracts submitted will be selected to present at this online conference, and from those we will select the 3 best, which will then be presented at the World Congress in Bilbao in October. The proposed dates for the online conference are 12th and 13th of July. We plan to do it on 2 days because we have a diverse set of people, so not everyone can make the same time, so we divide it into 2. And the 3 winners, as I said, will present at the Congress, and they will also get a little bit of support to travel to the Congress. So it's exciting. Please take part. You're most welcome, and it's this is the second time we're doing it, and it's a well-attended conference. It was quite a success last year as well. If you go to the next slide. Yeah, it's the blog writing competition. We're still narrowing down the topic, but broadly it will be for economy, and 10 blogs selected will be published, and then the top 3 will be presented at the YPG session. We have 2 sessions at the World Congress, and one will showcase the online conference results, and the other is showcasing the YPG flagship project results. So this will also be presented there. Winners will be announced closer to July. We will be launching it in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for both of these ways you can contribute to our campaign. What we have is, this time we have support from the Swiss UTA school at the University of Texas in Austin, and they conduct winter schools every year. And they have promised to support 3 YPG members to travel to the winter school, and it's a great opportunity for people to actually learn more about dump sites and integrated waste management. So I encourage you to take part in the blog writing competition as well, because the prizes are quite unique and special. Moving on to the next slide is just a very brief timeline of how the flagship project is going to look like. You are almost welcome to contribute, ask me questions. This is my last slide. So we are now, both James and I, open to questions. Nina will moderate the session. You can type in your questions, or you can ask by unmuting yourselves. So thank you very much, and I look forward to your interaction.
Thanks a lot, Aditi. It's really exciting. A lot to do. So we will start with the questions you already put in our box. So the first one is a comment from Derek. He just recently visited Kingdom dump site in Freetown, and Freetown also signed up to CCAC. So Derek proposes that this dump site could be a great candidate for their case study, I suppose. So is that something?
Cool.
So,
hi, Derek.
And the next person, who is the task force, from Derek. I also don't think that I think Derek could ask James, like, in private at the board meeting. The other thing is from Daniel. I think it relates to James, because Daniel is interested in getting deeper insight to the plant capacity building and training workshops from the working group. James, could you tell us more about it?
In terms of the training?
About the training, yeah.
Yeah, the training will be, I think, our activity too, that we once this candidate site is selected, and then we'll go through the assessment of that site, and so there will be a interim report issue, and then during that time, and our planning is during that time, and then the following, which is a final report. So basically, this will be taking place in the this year and next year. And during that time, there will be some organized effort of sending experts to that countries to do the training and almost like a training workshops to be conducted with the local people. And I would say, there's no fixed schedule yet, but it will be after the assessment is done, and we will try to maximize the use of funding. So hopefully we can combine the site visit and the training at the same time. And we are thinking about maybe do one during the initial site visit, and then the follow-up training after the report is during the final report time. At that time, we'll probably know more about this the situations.
Okay.
So there's no fixed schedule at this point, but it will be. I would think that there'll be at least 2 training workshops.
Okay, perfect. So Daniel, I would suggest that you contact James by email, and when the schedule is fixed, James could send you the link.
And welcome, I welcome any email contact or any question you want to ask. Just by all means, contact me.
Okay, let us go on with a question from Rami. A question is also to James. Rami is mentioning that funding is one of the key challenges facing, which developing countries are facing now to close the dump sites.
Mm-hmm.
And Rami is wondering, is ISWA planning to lobby international humanitarian agencies and the World Bank to make it easier for these countries to access the required funding?
Yeah, the answer is yes. And our campaign fundraising essentially is try to provide some seed monies. And of course, the ISWA board will be providing they're already providing some seed money for us to start with this campaign. And there is still plenty need that we need to move this forward. And our initial effort is, of course, to try to fundraising within our own membership, and such as national members who can provide some seed money to start. And once we get the request from the governments who express interest in dealing with their own dump sites, and our effort is really try to come up with a report so that we can then attract international funding agencies such as World Bank to come in and fund their projects of closing the site. So there will be several levels of activity going on, and I think the main funding will be coming in when they actually doing the physical closing site, where they're going to need money from organizations such as World Bank. And I, from talking to some of the World Bank folks, they are very keen in doing these sort of projects. But the requirement, of course, is to make sure that the money go to where it's going to go. So this is why it is important that both me and Aditi was talking about getting local government participation and their willingness to step up to clean up the environment and deal with their dump site. It's a absolute commitment on their side. Otherwise, there's no assurance that it's going to be successful.
Okay, sure. There is another question from Daniel. Did ISWA actually start working on the shutdown of a particular landfill? But I think it's the success stories, James, you have mentioned, like in Israel and in England, I think.
Brazil is I would say the Brazil site in Brasilia. That was the one that the ISWA is pretty involved a couple of years ago, and we have the vice president of ISWA Carlos Silva. He is from Sao Paulo, and so the case study was presented in last year's World Congress in Malaysia, and we have invited the local government to present the case, and the case study definitely illustrated if the local government wanted to participate, that is a way of doing it, and it's we could probably read a little bit more when the case is posted on our website, and but I think the idea of this success story is to encourage other low to medium income countries, government to see that closing dump site is all possible, and so long as they put their will together,
Okay. Okay, right. I have another question from Natalia to Aditi. Aditi, why the Young Professionals Group want to use the Indiegogo? What was the reason we have chosen this campaign? That's
a good question. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a good question, and we were discussing some platforms. I think in the end, the reason we chose to go with this is because Kamal, who's the co-chair, he had experience using this platform, and he knows success stories. And so we said, okay, if he has good experience with this, then we should go ahead with it. It's pretty straightforward. Links to Facebook or some such. It's like, easy to donate and also to share videos and stories on it. So we decided to go with it. I mean, we haven't. It's still being worked on. So if it poses a lot of problems, then we might change to say GoFundMe or something else. But there are few well-known platforms, and Indiegogo is one of them.
Okay.
I can add some. By the way, our task force has a donation. We
GoFundMe
use
page.
GoFundMe, yeah, and it's all kind of set up for people who want to donate in that platform.
Okay. Good. Then there is another question from Natalia. I think also addressing Aditi. Aditi, how will each working group from Young Professionals will be working in the Flagship project?
Yeah, so different working groups will be doing different things. So for instance, I explained the online conference and the blog writing competition. The online conference is being led by the research working group. So it's Rami and Vish, very heavily involved with other participation from the other members. And then for the online conference competition, it's also through the research group, but education working group will be heavily involved in either disseminating it or helping them with the coordination efforts, or even launching the whole campaign. Then we are going to work very closely with the comms group, because the comms group is going to be heavily involved in making understandable videos, or we're hoping to make one good quality 3 to 4 minute video which can be disseminated to explain what the campaign is about, what we're trying to do as a group, and why closing dump sites is important. So each working group, I feel, is going to have a role to play. So for instance, the regional groups will have dissemination activities or tasks. So we'll have to have national campaign leaders who can push it forward through social media channels or through their own networks if they have physical meetings. So these are just some of the few ways that we will be taking involvement from all the working groups.
Okay. Aditi, there is another question from Dan van den Elsen. I'm not sure if it's Mr. or Miss, but this participant is wondering, really likes the idea of the Indiegogo campaign, and is wondering about the plan for the promotion. But I think
yes,
there
so
is not.
Sorry, yeah, the plan is to launch in the next few weeks, and we will keep it open for 2 months. Close it at the end of June, depending on how much what we can actually raise and how much funding we get in the end. Yes, but stay tuned. Is he a YPG member?
I suppose so, because we shared with the young professionals the invitation.
Okay. Okay, good. You can reach me, whoever sorry, I didn't get your name, but you can always write an email to me. It's Nina will share it later on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we also have the WhatsApp group, so
exactly.
If you want to
Yeah,
reach out,
just...
Aditi, it's always there is a chance to do it. Then we have also a comment from Usman. He's from Pakistan, and he mentions that local government of Lahore in Pakistan has closed its first dump site, which was catering more than 6,000 tons of waste daily, and they have moved it to a landfill.
That's very impressive.
Wow, so they move. Yeah, that's amazing. Hey, Usman, would you write like a case study for us or something? We can also publish it on the YPG website or even our closingdumpsites.iswa.org website.
Right.
We are always looking for such good stories. So
yeah,
please.
and we would love to have them come to the World Congress to present it.
Okay, now that's a good idea. So we have another question from Rami. As the ISWA has already had a funding page, wouldn't it be more effective for the young professionals to promote the existing campaign rather than starting a new one from scratch?
Good point, Rami. This was also discussed because I think at this we launched it at the same time, and this is another ongoing discussion. It's just that how do we keep the funds separate then, because some is, related to a project and it has to be reported as such. And we don't even know what we're going to do with the funds that YPG raises. Like, is it going to be the same dump site that ISWA is going to look at? Because we have to be also careful that we don't need to be in synergy, but we don't want to take away from the main project. So the main project has specific goals and deliverables which it has to report to the donors. And the YPG, we will see what the money is going to be used for. So if it's going to be specific, is it going to be the same site that we select? Or is it going to be a different site? So with all those kind of issues, we kept it separate. But that's an ongoing discussion. It's not yet completely finalized.
Okay. Then Usman is also he wants to start a awareness campaign among academia, academia, and he wants to get involved. Yes, so Usman, as we said, you should reach out, Aditi, and know how you get involved in the project.
Yes, you can be one of our national campaign leaders, Usman. That would be great.
Yep. Daniel is still wondering about the trainings and for whom the training is going to be. I suppose Daniel wants to participate.
Which training is he talking about? Which training is he talking about?
The working group on the landfills is planning to do. But as I have understood, James, and I think, please correct me if I'm wrong, the trainings should be taken place in where the one dump is going to be closed.
That's correct. Yeah.
The local authorities or local experts, they're going to be educated. Yeah.
Right, because that training is specifically for that chosen site, and now there will be the working group on landfill has different kind of landfill training workshop. Probably we usually plan for at least once a year somewhere in the world that invited us to be to come in as an expert, and the local partners. Of course, they will have to do all the logistic arrangement and such and that, So that will be a different kind of training compared to this closing dump site, because closing dump site is very specifically for that particular location's needs.
Okay, Daniel, if you are interested in taking part or maybe educating or being the teacher or the lecturer in this kind of trainings, I think you will receive all the presentations, and there is a contact details of James, so you can drop him the email.
Yeah, by all means, reach out to me. We are still in the planning stage because it's nothing concrete yet until we select that particular site, and then we'll be moving full steam forward.
Okay, perfect. We are run out of questions, but I have one question to James. did I understand it right that the working group is also going to, like, based on the success stories, you are going to produce some kind of guidance how to close dump site, like a universal guidance?
The roadmap for closing dump site, that document is already available a few years ago, and it has quite a bit of information in there, such as on the technical side, which is the working group on landfill is involved in. But there are other chapters, for instance, the governance, which Derek Greedy is the author of that chapter, and then there are also political finances and health issues. Like there are a total of like 6 chapters. I mean, a lot of information in there. I would encourage people, go in there and read the information that they need. And technical guidance, like let's say for any other document, is going to be an ongoing effort. For instance, let's say we select a site for this particular CCAC project, and then from there, we will probably going to compile information and guidance document how to close landfill, for instance. We're probably going to do a more specific one for that, and then people can relate it to that particular site, what we end up doing, and so it will be an ongoing effort there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Then we have 5 minutes left, and I just have my last question concerning the knowledge base. James, maybe you could send me the link, and I'll also share it with all the participants.
Yeah, the video link.
No, the link for the knowledge base, as you have mentioned.
Yeah. Now you can. Okay, I will send it to you.
Okay.
Most of the slides, yeah.
And my just to end this session, I wanted to ask Aditi, because you have mentioned that this project for the young professionals and the 2 sessions we're gonna have in the conference in Spain in October. I'm just wondering, is are these all competitions open only to young professionals, or it's open to any students or any researchers?
So this was again a debate that we had last year. We had opened it up to young professionals, if I'm not mistaken, last year, and it will possibly remain the same this year as well, because that's something we want to give the YPs a chance or a benefit. So the students, whoever are interested, are welcome to join us as young professionals. It's open to everybody, right? So I think the only limit is to be under 35 and working in the field. So they're all welcome to join YP and become a part of the group, and then they can apply.
Okay. And yeah, so I don't have any questions left. So I would try, let us sum it up. And thank you very much, James and Aditi, for the nice presentations, and thanks for the participants for asking questions and being active. Thank you very much, Katie, for helping us out, and I hope this is a new start for our further cooperation with CIWM. And we recorded it, and we will send it to you stop of this meeting, with the links to the presentations, with a link to the knowledge base, with a link to the video, which James wanted to share. And we're also going to have the link of this webinar. It will also be published at the YouTube channel of ISWA. And as I have mentioned in the beginning, so if you have any ideas, if you want to make presentation yourself, or you want to contribute in some other way, just drop us the email, and we will be happy to have you in the team. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nina.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And
thank you, everybody.
Looking forward to hearing from you all.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.